What's up guys, Jacques Slade here back with another unboxing, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another look at one of the Doernbecher Freestyle 2016 collection sneakers. This one is brought to you by a kid named Chase. Chase was at Doernbecher Hospital for a condition he has called hydrocephalus, I believe is what it's called. Don't quote me on that. I actually have him explain it to you a little later. But I actually talked to Chase at the Doernbecher auction for the hospital where they auctioned off a pair of these shoes, and his shoe went for $21,000 at the auction. It was awesome. He was on stage and they were bidding. It was like 20,000, 21,000 sold. It was really an awesome experience.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But he says he's going 19 because he knows where you're going. 20, 21 there, right? Okay. Sold.
But so before I actually get into these shoes, I actually want you guys to hear a little bit from Chase about his condition and from his family. So check this out.
I am Chase and I am 14 years old. I'm interested in track and field, creating websites. I also like raising 4-H livestock. And I was diagnosed at birth with hydrocephalus.
Hydrocephalus is the abnormal accumulation of cerebral spinal fluid on the brain. When he was in first grade, he was formally diagnosed with a seizure disorder, and it just started this journey of us trying to help him manage the seizures.
He was having up to multiple seizures a day. It started to affect his life.
He was on the highest dosage of medication that they felt was safe for him. Again, the medications just weren't working, so we started this process to look at the brain resectioning surgery with Dr. Selden. He just said, I've studied his brain. I want you guys to trust me. I think that this is a good option for him.
The resectioning surgery itself is basically removing a portion of the brain where these seizures were being caused from.
They cut open my skull and attached electrodes onto my brain. And they actually were able to see that I was having a lot more seizures inside my brain that I couldn't even signal.
They said, you will not believe the difference it's gonna make right away. And they said he's gonna feel so much better.
So awesome. They have pretty much fixed me up.
I tell everyone, if you have any health issues for your child, take them to Doernbecher.
Yep, they've made my life a lot better. Well, I just love you. You're the best doctors I've ever had.
Alright, so now that you've actually heard from Chase and his family, like I told you, super cool kid, just super chill. Let's take a look at his shoe. So his shoe it comes in the same box that all the other shoes come in, which is this Tiffany turquoise blue kind of box with the Doernbecher Freestyle logo right there on the top. Then it has the Freestyle there, and then of course it says Doernbecher there. And inside the box is pretty much the same as with all the other shoes. It has the Freestyle paper with the Freestyle writing and then the Freestyle sticker to keep everything closed. But let's take a look at his shoe, which is the Air Max Zero. As we kind of talked about with Shahela's shoe, the Air Max Zero was the actual original Air Max shoe. So when Tinker originally created the Air Max shoe, this is the shoe that he actually created. So let's take these out of the box here so you guys can get a better look at those. So one thing about Chase that they didn't mention in the story, they did mention how he has seizures, but something that they didn't mention was that he's had over 8,000 seizures over his lifetime. That kind of plays into this design. That's why I brought that up. So let's take a look at the overall design of the shoes. As you can clearly see, they are blue and green, which shows a little bit of love for the Seattle Seahawks, which happens to be his favorite team. So that's why those colors actually go together. And Russell Wilson actually signed his pair that he had at the auction. This pair isn't signed, but the pair that he had at the auction was actually signed. Now, the colors actually have two sort of themes. One obviously is the Seattle Seahawks, but the other one is land and sea. So Chase has a lot of love and a lot of affection for this land and for the sea, and that goes into the logos on the heel, which are of a lighthouse. So Chase likes lighthouses. He went on a trip to see lighthouses when he was younger, and they've always kind of stuck with him. So you see that they have the lighthouses there on the heel. And a very dope detail that he put together is that the lighthouse is here, but then the Nike swoosh serves as like the light coming from the lighthouse, which is very dope. And these are actually reflective, so if you cut off the lights, these actually reflect in the light, which is a very, very nice detail. Shout out to Chase for that one. So we have the land, which is the green. We have the sea, which is the blue. But then if you also notice, as you get closer to the top here, it's a light blue, which is representation of the sky. So he has this whole earthy land, sky, water kind of feel going on with his shoes, which I thought was really cool. Another detail is on the laces of the shoes. So they have his nickname, which was the captain, and you can see that it's on the laces here. Now, Chase's condition is a condition of the brain, which makes a lot of sense because if you look inside the insoles are of an actual brain. Chase actually had surgery on his brain, so to include them in the design, I thought was a pretty dope detail. So that's the overall look of his shoe. Of all the shoes in the collection, Chase's shoe probably has the biggest overall theme of the land, sea, and the sky with the lighthouses, and then obviously the colors of the water and the land here on the upper. And then I really like the fact that he made this reflective, which was a very, very good detail. Very good job, Chase. Anyway, so if you guys haven't already, I know you've heard about the Doernbecher Hospital, but if you have the opportunity, make sure you donate to the hospital. The proceeds from the sale of the shoes all go to the Doernbecher Hospital as well. The shoes and the apparel that go with it, those are released on December 17th, or start to release on December 17th. So if you're going to pick those up, that's the day to actually start looking out for those. And I want to give a big shout out to the designers at Nike, because they really allow the children that are part of the freestyle program to just go wild and do whatever they want on these shoes. And I think that's very commendable, allowing these kids to just really do what they want and create a design and create a shoe that they've always wanted. I remember talking to Chase, and I asked him what he wanted people to think about when they actually saw his shoe, and his thing was just like, yo, I just want them to know that I designed it. A 14-year-old kid was able to design a shoe, and he was really proud of that, and you should be very proud of that, Chase. Anyway, all right, guys, so if you haven't already, make sure you turn on your notifications for this channel. That way you make sure you don't miss anything that happens right here. I am Jacques Slade. This is the Nike Air Max Zero Doernbecher 2016 by Chase. Actually, by Unstoppable Chase. As always, guys, I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon. Peace.